Let me go horizontally. So let me try it one last time. No, damn it. Okay, never mind. We're just gonna roll with it. I really wanted to go live this way, but it is okay. We are just going to roll with it. Welcome in, everyone. We're talking about how to manifest fast when you are impatient like me. And I want to begin by, first of all, let me know that you guys can see me and hear me because I was having some technical glitches and I don't know why it won't let me go horizontally. YouTube keeps changing things up on me. Okay, so I think you guys can see me. So I want to start by letting you guys know that the card for Budapest, our Europe intensive, went live today. It went live for university bundles, yes, students yesterday, and live for everyone else today. So celebrating that and celebrating this week of New Year Eve at the Universe Grew, I decided to do this series on manifestation. So I'm super excited about this. I feel like I haven't talked about manifestation in a minute. And so I want to kind of set the tone by talking about why are we here at Universe Grew celebrating New Year Eve again. So is there anyone here that was at the Incarnate Intensive? Let me know in the chat. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you weren't, I have opened up the digital recordings for that, by the way. So I'll throw that in the chat as well. So if you guys remember, at Incarnate, we were talking about how my team and I split each year into 4 to 6 years. And this is a concept that I started playing with a couple of years ago because I'm a very, very, very impatient person. You guys know this. I've tried to not be impatient by doing inner work, but this is just like how I am. I like to move really fast. I like to like quantum leap in my life. So I was like trying to like have these yearly goals and I would just be bored out of my mind and manifest them quickly anyways. So what I started playing with was at first I wasn't even calling it having multiple years in 1 year. I was calling it having multiple incarnations. You guys remember when I was like talking about that years ago, talking about like having multiple incarnations in one lifetime. So that was a game changer for me. What happened was my year would start on January 1st, just like everyone else. But like in 2 months or 3 months, that year would end. I would have manifested everything on my vision board. I would have manifested everything in my goals list. And then I would do like a second, like a New Year's Eve celebration or like a birthday celebration, like I'm being reborn, and then start a second year. So I would do that for 2 to 3 months. And then end that year, like everything's manifested, everything's checked, like done, and then have like either a rebirth ceremony or a New Year Eve, and then move into the third year. And this has been such a game changer for me as an impatient soul because it keeps me excited, it keeps me adventurous, it keeps me motivated, and it doesn't like make me feel like, oh, the year is so long, like why is it like I feel like you will manifest things in the time that you allow yourself. So if you give yourself a year, you'll waste the entire year and then put all your best effort that last month anyways, right? So for me, what this has done is that I'm always in the energy of starting fresh, manifesting, ending, completion, resetting goals, manifesting again, and it helps me stack the blessings and keep it rolling and keep it moving. So these last 3 months from January up until like this week was 1 year for us here at Team Universe Grow. So this week, the last week of March, we've been doing New Year Eve celebrations. We've been, talking about how we're having a completely new identity, what we've already manifested, what we're moving into. In fact, I'm gonna see my team live next week in person and we are talking about how we're going to have to wear name tags and shake hands and reintroduce ourselves because we've accomplished so much in the last 3 months. And so I've been journaling a lot about everything that I've manifested in the last 3 months. And as I was doing that, for some reason, this time around, my mind kept going to the last like 17-year journey of discovering the law of attraction and then everything else that happened after that. So every time I would sit back down to journal, I would talk like journal about the last 3 months and this new identity and what I'm gonna do the next 3 months. And then my mind would go to, oh my God, I like 17 years ago when I discovered the law of attraction and how my life would change. That's when I realized that there was a lesson here and God wanted me to teach it. So, what I want to do now is take you on this journey to playing with being in like play mode with the law of attraction and what I've learned along the way, how my life has changed. I wish I had like made a list of all the things I've manifested, but honestly, there's just so much in the last 17 years that have went down that I don't think that I can even quantify it enough to write it down. Obviously, there's big things that you can see, but there's so many internal things that you can't see that I can just feel and I'm just grateful for. So, for those of you guys that are new, or maybe you just need a refresh of my journey, I'll talk about it here. So, in 2006, I just was like at a really kind of like deep, dark like time in my life, and I was talking to my cousin on the phone. She lives in a different state. We grew up together. She's one of my best friends, and she knew that I was going through a lot of stuff and that I was just in a really like dark place in my life. And so she told me, she was like, she's like, let's just go back to old times when you used to come visit. We used to go hang out and eat out and shop till we dropped. Like, just, you know, get yourself a ticket and like get on the next flight out. I'm like, no, like Armaan was like 18 months at the time. Like he was a baby. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm just like in such a dark place. And she's like, just get over here and we will fix you up and we'll get you out of this state. So I get a ticket. I'm at the airport and I must have really been looking like depressed or something because there was someone sitting next to me and I honestly have tried so hard to remember if it was a male or a female. And I don't know why, but I can't place a face or a gender on this person at all. Like I've tried so hard. I'm kind of like creeped out of about that too. That why can't I remember whether it was a male or a female? But anyways, there was a person sitting next to me and they said, I heard them saying, I know what you need. And I'm just like kind of like weirded out and like who the hell are you, right? I'm already like in a dark place, right? And so I don't say anything to this person. I'm like, maybe they're not talking to me. And then he or she goes, you need the secret. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm thinking this person's on something. They're batshit crazy. So I get up, pick up my bag, pick up my child, and I like dash into the nearest like store, which happened to be like a bookstore. You know, one of those like travel snack shop knickknack bookstores at the airport. So this is at like O'Hare Airport. I'm on my way to California. So I hop into the store and I'm just like looking around, buying Armand candy, and I notice this book on the freaking shelf. And you're not gonna believe what it says. It says The Secret. Now I'm like really creeped out because that weirdo out there was literally like, I know what you need the secret. So I buy the book, get Armand's candy, throw it in my bag, get on the flight, fly to California, hang out with my cousin, and just like have a good time with her. Fly back, and this at this time in my life, I had a condo, but I was like moved back in with my parents for a little bit because of helping me raise my son and all. You guys know most of that story. So I was at my parents. And so I forgot about the book. It was like somewhere there. Well, I end up during that next year, I end up selling that condo, the one I had, and end up buying another property. I was in real estate. You guys remember that. And so I end up buying another property, and I'm now packing to move into this other condo with my son. As I'm packing to move into this condo, I find the book. And I'm like, "Oh, I remember this book." I had not even, like, touched it or opened it. So I decided that I was gonna read it, and so I started looking through it, and for some reason, it's just not resonating to me. Because I used to read a lot, and I still read a lot. I love reading, but I'm used to reading, like, books, like personal development books, and this book felt very choppy to me. There was like a lot of sayings in it, and it just, I wasn't in a place to receive it. And shortly afterward, I discovered that there was actually a DVD that went along with the book. And I don't know why I ended up buying the DVD. So I bought the DVD, watched it, and I was shook to my core. It was like God was speaking directly to me. It was like I had manifested every single word in that DVD. I could not believe it. So I moved into my condo now, and I'm watching this DVD every single day. I'm just obsessed with it. And I'm like one of those psychos that's like walking around telling everyone about it, but like people just think I'm being crazy. Like I'm trying to tell all my clients, right? All my real estate clients and everyone. I'm just like, have you seen the secret DVD? And they're like, no. Right. And then I try to get my family members to watch it. And no one except for my mom wanted to watch it. And so I showed it to my mom, and she thought it was freaking amazing. So I'm like, in the beginning, I start watching this DVD every single day. I become obsessed with it, right? Like I would go to work, go to school, come back, watch the DVD, go to work, go to school, come back, watch the DVD. I just become consumed by it. And slowly, it's like something internally starts changing. I start realizing from watching that movie that everything that had occurred into my life was something that I had either called in or something that was a lesson meant to take me to my next level. And so I started using and applying the concepts in that DVD. I still to this day, by the way, have not read the book. This was like 17 years ago. I have listened to the audiobook recently. I think like 3 years ago, I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook is much better. For some reason, I could never read the book. So, anyways, and slowly I started applying the concepts. Now, 2008 was a very, very, very difficult year. That was the year that my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And thank God we had the secret DVD, those teachings, because they helped us, me and my mom, through that time. My mom used a lot of that work. I'm so glad that she really resonated with the principles to help her during those last few years of her life. In fact, she was only given 2 months to live when she was first diagnosed with ovarian cancer, but was able to live 2 years after that. So it did really help her. So in 2008, my mom gets diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and she's just literally like withering away in front of my eyes, going through surgeries and chemo and all of this stuff. And that's when she makes that request to me. She says, I on my last, if I only have 2 months to live, my last request is that I see you happily like remarried and settled down. Yeah, I want to see you having like a happy family and a happy home. So during this time, I'm like 99% sure this was Oprah. Um, I'm watching Oprah, and there was someone on Oprah talking about creating a love list and manifesting their soulmate. Now, I didn't know at this time that that was connected to the law of attraction. It was just like love list is not necessarily something that the DVD mentioned, right? So I'm like, oh, so like I know about vision boards from the secret. This is like another form of the vision board. So I created this ideal love list of this ideal partner that I was going to manifest so that my mom could have this kind of like her last wish, her last request, and see me happily married and settled down. And so I started the process of rotational dating. And I can't tell you how close every single person on my rotation was to this ideal love list that I had created. And then within a few months, I manifested my now husband of 15 years, and he proposed in 2 months. We were engaged for 2 months. I'm sorry, he proposed in 2 weeks. We were engaged for 2 months, and then we got married. And my mom was actually able to come and visit my home because I moved to a different state with my husband, and I was 8 months pregnant when she came to visit my home, and she got to see me happily married. In fact, pregnant with my second baby, and so that was like her last kind of visit to my house, and so that's what I manifested. at that time. Then when I got married, I had all of this time for the first time to be safe, right? Because before this, I was always kind of in a state of survival and fight or flight. And really, then I dived in deeper into my inner work and my relationship with God. And the things that started manifesting after that were just so divine. I feel like manifesting Irfan was just kind of like the foundation, and it feels like to me that I said, God, I know you're there, but I need you here with me. And God, in some way, manifested as my husband. Like they say in my culture that your spouse, your husband, is like the divine masculine aspects of God manifested in human form. So he became my provider, my protector, and I was able to go into this really deep study of myself, of spirituality, of my relationship with God, and create so much healing, not only in my life, in my family's life, but also tens of thousands of women all over the planet, all age groups, all nationalities, different religions. In fact, so many people say that because of my teachings, they have found themselves closer to God, to closer to their religion. And so that's what I love about this work is that the law of attraction got me closer to God. And once I was closer to God, I was able to really study myself and decondition and do really, really deep inner work within myself so that my outside reality started changing. Let me see what I had tried to make notes. Oh my God, someone said 444 people live. How beautiful. Um, I enrolled for Budapest Intensive a few hours ago, and I cannot fully describe. Just doing that brought me such level of happiness. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so happy to have you. I'm super excited seeing you guys on July 25th in Budapest, Hungary. This is only our second in-person event in Europe. The first Europe Intensive happened in Lisbon, Portugal in 2022. So I know you guys have been manifesting this, so I'm super excited. Yay! And if you guys want to take a look at that, I have the link in the show notes, but I will also throw it in the description box for you guys. The bonuses that are coming with this intensive are over $7,000, so you're definitely getting a few times more than what you're spending. And also there's a payment plan. So let me keep going. So here's what I want to say. A lot of people use the law of attraction to manifest all of these beautiful things. For me, one of the biggest hacks that I have used with the addition of the law of attraction is been my inner work. Can you attract, can you manifest without inner work? Yes, I have seen people doing it. I have also done it, but honestly, it was a little bit haphazard for me. What happened when I was trying to manifest without inner work is that every time I was manifesting, it started to feel like I was starting from scratch. It felt haphazard. It felt uncertain. It felt like, will I get it? Will I not get it? It didn't feel stable. It felt very haphazard. So when I started really saying, well, asking myself, how come I manifested that, but I can't manifest that? Or how come that was really easy, but that I can't manifest, or that thing takes time, right? And it was in asking those questions that self-awareness started awakening in me, and I realized that it was because of my core beliefs. What we believe, it controls and dictates what we even allow ourselves to dream, desire, and what we allow into our reality. And so that's where my 6-step inner work process came to be, which you guys know is in the Basic Babe Bundle. It's also in my book. So I created this formula for myself first and foremost. I wasn't even trying to teach anyone this formula at this time because I'm like, I just need to get really, really great at this and really, really embodied in this so that I can manifest consistently. And what I realized is that as I did more inner work, it became easier to manifest because I never had to start at the beginning. Whatever I had used to manifest previously, that foundation was already laid down. All I had to do is build the next level on top of it, and then the next level on top of it, and then the next level. So it was like this ladder or this staircase, and I call this like stacking the blessings, right? You can't do that if you're not actually doing your inner work, because a lot of times you're just going to be stuck in the manifesting something for free or manifesting something through someone else. And as much as I find that fun, yes, it is fun to manifest things for free. It is fun to manifest things through my husband or through a client or through a friend. But I also want to be a sovereign, like, person that can manifest through me. I want to be the channel as well. I want God to use me as well. I don't always want to say, "Oh, I need money. Who's going to give it to me? Who's going to be the channel?" I get to be the channel. And so that has helped me become a better version of myself through using inner work. And no, inner work has not always been fun. Sometimes it was fun and I allow it to be fun. But in those earlier stages for me, I was coming from a background of childhood sexual abuse. That was not fun to go back, work through, deal with, but it was necessary because how can I have this internal rotting foundation with so much trauma from abuse and then trying to build on top of it when underlying like my subconscious beliefs were that uh, you know, I'm a victim, that I have a trauma in my background, that I'm broken, that there's something wrong with me. So I had to go and clear that stuff away so that I could really manifest at the level that I want to manifest. Because the more you manifest, the more, source energy, quantum field, God wants to channel through you. So I had bigger and better desires. Okay. So I promised you guys I was going to talk about impatience energy and how I've uh, transmuted being impatient, being a negative thing, into transmuted it into like my secret superpower. Okay, so it is no secret. I think you guys know this too because I've talked about this, but my family and friends already know that I am a super impatient person. And I promise you, I have tried to do inner work around this, and I've tried to like not be impatient. I've tried to work through being patient, all of that stuff. But it's just a part of my nature. I just like things quicker. I like to move fast. I like to manifest fast. And instead of trying to like push up against this, I just came to the acceptance that this is who I am. And actually, I enjoy being impatient. I feel like being impatient just gets things to me a lot quicker. And it doesn't have me like waiting around on someone else's timeline. So I'm on Mina time. It's like Mina fasting. So I'm manifesting on my own time. And so what I realize is that impatience energy, if you can tap into it for a second. I know not it doesn't feel good to everyone. I don't mind it. It like fuels me. Just for a second, play along with me and tap into like impatience energy and tell me all the words that come up for you. I'm going to do it with you. You can probably already see it on me. Can you see it? Let me see if someone can guess it in the comments. Okay. Anxious, craving, excited. KB said I'm the same way, Mina. Okay, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. The word now came up. Mouth-watering, rage. My heart started beating faster. Hurry, excitement. Yes. So how I was experiencing it is that like it was like all like the atoms, everything started moving like faster. It was like it was like excitement energy. It's like anxious energy. It's like, is it here yet? Right? Like, oh. So when we have this impatient energy and someone tells us to be patient and wait, how I'm literally like vibrating fast. What the hell do you mean you want me to be patient or like wait? So here's my hack, and this has been a game changer for me. I started applying this probably in like 2015, I want to say, is when I was like, damn it. Like, I can't inner work impatience out of me. I'm just going to have to own it. I'm going to have to like work with it. I'm going to have to include it as part of my experience. And so, you guys know I studied in my background, right? And one of the things that they talk about anxiety is that the reason that we can experience anxious energy is that when we are in fight or flight, or when we are in like excitement energy, or there is a new desire. Like, for example, if I'm a cave woman and there is a desire to eat berries, there is this energy that is now like um, allocated to me getting up, walking to wherever the berries are, picking the berries and eating them. Okay. So there's like this energy that's now allocated towards that. If I just keep sitting there, the desire came to eat berries. The energy came to get up, walk to the berry bush, pick the berries and eat them. But I didn't do anything. I'm trying to be patient to see if someone else can get, whatever. I'm just going to sit here and try to manifest it. Well, at first, that like moving, like excitement energy that's been allocated towards moving to go get the thing, now it's going to start turning into anxiety because now my body is going, well, I want to go eat the berries and like I have this energy, but I can't use it because like someone else has to go. Like my body's going to go, something's wrong. Why is she not using this energy that we gave her for her desire? So when you tell someone who is an impatient person, meaning that when they have the desire, their energy shows up right away, you're telling them, no, 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 just wait for it, sit there, don't be impatient now. You're actually going to turn this excitement energy, this movement energy, this taking action energy into anxiety. And now they're like, why isn't it here? It hasn't showed up yet. And notice that when someone's first manifesting something, they're super excited about it. But like eventually they get really annoyed and they're like, why isn't it here yet? Because that excitement, movement, take action energy has now transmuted itself into anxiety. And then eventually it can turn into despair. It can turn into like giving up. It can even turn into all kinds of like jealousy, envy, things that it's like, why is it happening for everyone else? So here's the hack that I use. Anytime a new desire shows up, and in that moment the energy shows up, I take action right away. Now, a lot of law of attraction teachers will tell you, well, the action isn't necessary. Maybe it's not for them. Maybe for them, the energy shows up weeks or months later. Or maybe for them, they're in that stage where someone else, it has to be channeled through someone else. So maybe they don't need to take action, right? For me, because I've already said I'm open to receiving in all the ways. I'm open for it to be channeled through me. I'm open for it to be gifted to me, to come to me. But because I am the type of person where when I have a desire, there is a certain level of excitement energy allocated to it, I start like getting really excited. I have to take action. So I start taking the action. Even if the action doesn't make sense, I start taking the action. It's not so much about what action I'm taking, it's that I'm using this energy and it starts bridging the gap. So if this is the manifestation, this is the thing that I'm desiring, that I want in my reality, and this is me. Now, because I don't have horizontal, I have to keep this gap small. So this is the manifestation. This is me. Okay. Well, just to make it like this is me, and then this is the manifestation. Okay. So if I'm just waiting here and I'm like super excited and I'm pulsating, the thing will seem really far away and the thing probably is moving towards me, right? But then I start getting really impatient and I'm like, why isn't it here yet, right? And now the thing like stagnates because now I'm like starting to turn into like impatient energy of like, why isn't it here yet? Like, this is taking too much time. I'm bored. You guys know, I already told you, I get bored really easily. But now, if I did it my way, here's me, here's the thing, the desire shows up in my heart, the energy is allocated, and I start being in the energy of this thing. So let's say that I go visit that thing. Okay. So let's say it was a car. Okay. Starting to notice that car, everywhere when I'm driving. Ooh, okay, now we're talking, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, it's getting closer. I see it. Okay. To then going to the dealership and being in the energy of the car. Now, this is what I'm doing. I'm bridging the gap. And it becomes so fun. I'm like in vibrational foreplay with the thing. It's teasing me, I'm teasing it. It's like this experience of foreplay where the whole thing gets to be divine and it gets to be fun. And it's like psychologically and energetically, I'm now using the energy that's been allocated to manifesting this thing in moving it closer. I did this in so many ways. Even when manifesting my husband, I started hanging out more with my married friends, especially the ones that were happily married. I started like noticing how they were interacting with each other. I started noticing how like their husbands were providing for them and how they would giggle at their husbands' jokes. So being in the energy of it, it didn't feel like a long time. It was like, oh, like this is already a part of my reality. I'm already experiencing it. I started treating those people as like a catalog. It's like a Neiman Marcus or Saks catalog where it's like, ooh, do I want this version of this? Oh, I love that from this couple and that thing from this couple and that thing from that couple. That's the kind of marriage that I get to have, right? It's like I'm like creating it and seeing it in reality, using other people as a template, taking bits and pieces of their reality and saying, okay, I would like this in my model and this in my model and a little bit of this, and then building my reality from that. So that's what I've done with pretty much every single thing that I've manifested super fast. In fact, the stage that I'm at now, I can manifest instantly. I have to share such a fun story with you guys. So uh, the first part of the story happened last year, and the second part of the story happened 3 days ago. And I posted about this on Instagram, so you probably remember. So last year in September, I was at a wedding, a family wedding, and I was telling my sister-in-law's trees came up. She has a whole backyard full of fruit trees, and they are just amazing. I mean, just the most amazing fruit. And so I was like, oh my God, like I love your fruit trees, and I always wanted a fruit tree of my own. And the next day, the wedding's over, we fly back home, and I don't remember it was the same day we flew back or the day after that. Irfan was doing something in the backyard and he comes like running in. I actually, to be honest with you, got startled because how excited he was and how fast he ran in. I thought, God forbid, something had happened. And he's like, you're not going to believe this. We have a fruit tree in our backyard. Now, mind you, Irfan was not there when I was having this conversation with my sister-in-law. Like he was there at the wedding, but he wasn't like there listening to the thing. And so I'm like super confused because I know my backyard. We've been living in this house for almost like, at this time, it was like a year and a half, right? And I'm like, huh? He's like, come outside, come outside. And he's like holding like these fruits in his hand. So I like run after him and we go outside. And I remember I had taken a picture or video and I had posted it on Instagram last year. And way behind the pool, like on the other side of our backyard, there was a literal like lemon tree. I was in shock because the previous homeowners had not mentioned this fruit tree. I had not seen this fruit tree in the 18 months that we've lived here. It just literally came out of nowhere. In fact, it's a fully grown tree. I said to Irfan, how did we never notice a full ass grown tree in our backyard? And then the fact that it was a fruit tree. Even if we hadn't noticed a fruit tree, maybe it wasn't fruiting, right? The fact that there was a full grown ass tree in our backyard that I missed is so bizarre, right? And so I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. He's like, what? I'm like, I was just telling, so and so that I wanted a fruit tree. And I've always wanted a fruit tree. He's like, I know. And I'm like, now we have a fully grown fruit tree. Now, mind you, in our old house, we had planted several fruit trees. And every time they would start getting a certain like height, like a freeze would happen. And then they would die. And this one guava tree that we had finally guavas in it, and then the next day there was a freeze and the entire tree died. It was like shortly before we moved into this house, and I was like, oh my god, right? So anyways, I instantly, because this house, this up level had put me in a completely new energy, a completely new paradigm, I was manifesting instantly. So I Googled spiritual meaning of lemon trees, and oh my God, so many prosperity blessings came up. It was like, it's a sign of prosperity, it's a sign of abundance. It's so many cultures believe lemon trees to be super like lucky, and it was like a special type of lemon. It's not just a lemon, it's like a certain type of citrus fruit. If I remember to ask Irfan exactly the name, I'll post it again. So anyways, 3 days ago, we had hired this company to come and trim some trees. Like, you know how you get your yard ready for spring. So they were supposed to come 2 days ago. And so 3 days ago, Irfan was out kind of like surveying the yard to see what he wanted them to do. And you're not going to believe this. He runs into the house and he's like, Mina, you're not going to believe this. And I said, what? He's like, I found another fruit tree. And I'm like, no, no. So what was the name? Does anyone remember? I had posted it on Instagram yesterday. Locard? Locard tree. Locard? Is that how you pronounce it? Does anyone remember? Locard? If you remember, post it in the chat. So anyways, I was like, what? Fully grown tree. And I was like, it must be somewhere in the back of the house. No, it's literally, you're not going to believe it. So this is our swimming pool. These are our lounging chairs. When I lay on the lounging chairs to when my kids are swimming, like, okay, imagine this is me on the lounge chair. That's the tree. Like right there. Like if I get up from the lounge chair and walk maybe 2 feet, I can touch the tree. Okay. I spent like all summer laying on that damn lounge tree. I swear to God, that tree was not there. And it's fully grown. And it has low carb. Yes, LOQUAT, low carb. So I'm like, oh my God. And so I said, have I ever eaten this before? And Irfan's like, oh, I grew up eating this fruit in Pakistan. And I was like, have I ever had it? And he's like, probably not. He's like, but you will now. And so it's not ready. It's not ripe yet. It's got like big fruits on it. I posted on Instagram, but it's not like ready to eat yet. He's like, in a week, it should be ready. So I instantly go and I look up the spiritual meaning. It's been mentioned in the Bible, and it signifies a happy and healthy, prosperous family. And I'm like, oh, I have like chills even re-sharing this story with you. This is instant manifestation level. And this happens to me so much in my life because my days, my evenings, my nights are spent doing my job. And my job in my life is making sure that I keep my energy high, I keep my heart pure, clean, so that I can continuously be in that state where I'm communicating with God, getting those downloads, taking those actions, doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And before I move on to Q&A, let me see if there was something else that I wanted to say. Okay, no, I think I'm good with that. Quick, some things I'll mention before I do a Q&A with you guys. Oops, what did I press? Oopsie. Okay, so Budapest, Hungary, happening July 25th. Link is in the description box. If you absolutely cannot make it live, but you still want to be a part of something, I just opened up the card for Incarnate Recordings. This is my bundle of recordings from the Houston Intensive, as well as the portal from Dubai. So you get that in the Incarnate Recordings. Budapest also comes with the entire 2-day recordings from Rich and Romance event, which sells separately for over $7,000. So that's coming as part of the Hungary Budapest event. So Q&A, ladies, I'm super excited. Key takeaways, questions coming up. Are you impatient like I am? This is one of those things, this is alchemy, where if you have something where you feel like this is a negative thing, I have to change it. Sometimes, sure, I'm a self-aware person. If I have something, I've transmuted a lot of stuff, right? I've done a lot of inner work. However, sometimes I found that if I cannot work something out, like out of me through inner work, that means it's actually a gift. And for some reason, the world has told me, or I've convinced myself, that it's actually not a gift. And so impatience in my life is not a negative thing. It's actually a gift. I'm not supposed to wait things out. I'm not that type of person. And, nothing wrong with the type of people that are very patient. I love that for them. Unfortunately, that's just not who I am. So I've had to just own that I'm just going to be impatient and I'll just make it work with me. Oh, I'm going to write that down. Someone said the best sushi in Budapest. Girl, I'm writing that down. My kids are obsessed with sushi. Okay, I'm writing that down. Tokyo in Budapest, you said? Best sushi. I will text that to Irfan right after this so he remembers. Okay, thank you. After some of your videos and courses, when I desire something and feel impatient and excited, I take it as a hint that some version of me already has it and I'm going in the right direction. A preview. Yes, yes, I love this. I love this. And so you're not like, imagine if she's like excited and now it's like, be patient. And she's like, wah, wah, wah. Like, I have to be patient. No, she's excited now. What if you're trying to be pretending to be patient and then the excitement goes away? I always just take action immediately because I don't want to take that chance and have that energy turn into anxiety or worse, like go away altogether. And now I'm not excited about it anymore. I love that, Al. This is how I decide. She said, I'll come to Budapest even if it's the last thing I do. I say this all the time for things. Like I'm doing it no matter what, even if it's the last thing I do. And now the money must show up. Absolutely. Absolutely. I even have a 4-month payment plan for people that are manifesting it. And the reason I did that is because our site only does payment plan, unfortunately, for US residents. It doesn't do it for people outside the US. And I'm like, this isn't Europe. So people need the payment plan there. So I opened up a personal payment plan on it. Would you say asking for a specific sign from God and experiencing it is a form of manifestation? I would say it's a sign that it's coming close. It's like a preview. It's like it's getting close. Like as Abraham Hicks would say, it's like in the vortex kind of energy. For me, when I start seeing it closer and closer, I get even more excited. I'm like, oh, it's like foreplay. It's like teasing me now. Like I know it must come. It's like playing peekaboo with me. I'm able to take action, but what to do when, despite action for multiple months, nothing is coming up? So the action is counting as something coming up. So let me give you an example. If let me use the example of the when I manifested Irfan. Okay, one of my getting closer to it action was spending more time with my married friends versus my single or divorced friends, right? So when I was spending time with my married friends, it wasn't like nothing's coming up. Things were coming up. I was getting to witness them. I was having more ideas come up of what to add or modify from my love list. I was getting more ideas and inspiration. I was getting to ask them questions like, where did you guys meet? And I was getting ideas of where you could meet people. So I would say that is something happening. That is something happening, right? So I think that a lot of people think when the thing they're holding it, that's when it's manifested. But you learning, modifying, changing, becoming is also a manifestation of you getting closer to it. So here's the thing. If you already manifested it, a lot of times people don't even appreciate it. They've checked it out and moved to the next thing. So one hack that I have also used is if I've done all the things to get as close to possible proximity to prosperity, as I've called it in some courses, right? Like, let's say I've done all the things to get as close as possible, and I'm like done playing with it. I'm done with the foreplay part. I just move on to the next thing. I assume that it's done and I move on to the next thing. And the minute I move on to the next thing, the thing shows up because it's like I've already assumed that it's done. Instead of like, digging up the plant to keep looking if it's growing or not. I'm like, the plant is fine. I'm gonna go move on to the next thing because the foreplay with that thing is no longer fun. So now I have to play with something else. My job is to stay in the creative play mode. I like feeling really good. I love having fun. These are just core Mina traits. Like I love fun. I love like enjoying myself. I love being happy. I love playing. So if that thing is not fun anymore, I've like exhausted how fun that could be, then it doesn't even matter if I get it or not. I just move on to the next thing because obviously it's not fun. So why not move on to the next thing? Thank you for the super chat, Sheila. She said, I feel I leak my manifestation. Friends around me end up manifesting the exact things that I desire as soon as I start desiring them. Am I doing something wrong? No, typically that is a sign that it's getting really close. So what you could do is instead of getting like, oh, they took it from me, or I leaked it, or like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, you go, oh my God, it's so close that my friends are actually getting it. Now we all get to have it together. Celebrate them, be excited for what they have. So, for example, even like celebrating my friends' marriages in this time that I'm trying to manifest my husband, help me like be in that energy of like, oh my God, now like I have this support system and we all get to be like happily married couples together. In fact, when I did manifest Irfan, they ended up helping me. They were a part of my vetting team. You guys know I always talk about having, people in your life that can help vet your partner. They were part of that team. So now it's like, oh God, I asked for this for me, but you want all of us to have it together. Wow, now it's getting close. So start using them to celebrate this thing that you know is so close that you can literally smell it. You can be in the energy of it. That's actually I take that as a very good sign in my life. Princess says, so happy to hear this. I don't have happily married people around me, but I did start watching a Pakistani drama and I'm enrolled in your Divine Union course. I'm learning and unlearning so much. Beautiful. So it doesn't have to be in like your immediate reality, but what Princess did is she gritted herself into it. She's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this Pakistani drama with happily married people. I'm gonna buy courses online from like people teaching from healthy perspectives of spirituality and marriage. I'm gonna follow certain maybe married people. It could be a pastor. It could be so many people. It doesn't. We're so blessed that we have the internet now that it doesn't have to be like physically manifested in this exact reality. We can tap into it from the cloud energy. So what you've done is you're like, okay, well, I don't really have it around me. Okay, I'm gonna go up to the cloud energy and I'm just gonna find myself in it some way. She was like, nope, it's happening. I'm not gonna sit around and be like, well, I don't really have people like that, so I guess it's game over. She's like, nope, I'm going up to the cloud and I'm gonna plug into the grid there. I can't believe it. Just a girl in my neighborhood got what I also want. I'm getting into that energy too now. Yes. So this is how I see it. Okay. I've never like verbalized it in this way. So let me just kind of channel it through. So if I want something and I see some random person holding it or having it, I'm like, okay, now you're teasing me with it, God. I see you. I see you over there teasing me. Okay. All right. Let's say a couple days after that, I see it with a closer friend of mine or a neighbor. I'm like, okay, that's like, it's like it was like standing in the corner. Now it's like right here. It's like, okay, I see you. You're trying to manifest me just as hard as I'm trying to manifest you. You keep trying to get closer to me. 2 days ago, I saw you randomly on the street. Now you're over here playing with my neighbor. Oh, okay, I see you. They say what you want wants you back. That's a sign that that thing is traveling towards you as well. Celebrate it, play with it, tease it. Be like, if you want it, gotta come closer, gotta get in my closet over here, right? So to me, that's like part of the fun. It's all vibrational foreplay. What's your course for manifestation? So I have several courses, delightfully. I have like entry level ones, and then my most advanced one. So let me share with you. I have one that's like a collection of trainings that I did over, I think it was like over 18 months, and that one is called Manifesting Babes. I also have a new one launching after the LA intensive that I wasn't going to tell you guys about, but I'm too excited. See, again, I can't contain it. I was like, we'll just come back from LA and then I'll tell them about it. And I can't. Like, it's like, no, tell them about it now. And then I have Manifest with God, my quantum coursework. I'll throw that one. That is advanced. That is some potent stuff. Let me make sure that is the correct link for you. Yes, Manifest Quantum Coursework. This is the advanced one. Oh my God, that is so fun. And like sexy is flirting with the manifesting. Yes, because remember, babe, the reason you want to manifest anything, I don't care what it is, an outfit, a husband, money, a baby, a job. If you're being honest, if you're anything like me, you want to manifest it because you like having fun. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Is there any other reason to manifest anything other than like enjoyment and fun? So if the point of having the thing is already your enjoyment and fun, why should you be miserable now before you get it? Wouldn't the logic then be that being in fun and flirty and playful energy now get the thing to us closer anyways? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Because like imagine like I'm like, oh, having this job would be so fun. I just really want that job. It would be so fun, but I'm so like miserable. It's like you don't even know how to have fun. Like have fun now, right? And how do you even know that job is going to be fun? You're not even having fun now. So the whole process should be fun. You can decide to make it fun. I love being in kind of like that vibrational floor play, sexy, like feeling like, for example, when I wanted to manifest a certain car, I kept seeing it everywhere, everywhere. And I'm like, quit flirting with me, quit flirting with me, right? And they kept coming closer and closer. And I'm like, uh-huh. So I just don't want you. You want me just as badly. Like that's the conversation that I'm energetically having with the car. Mina, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful mindset. Always feel so vibrant listening to you, Queen. Thank you, Peaches. I love your name, by the way. I love all things flavored peaches. I don't know if you guys knew this about me. Yes, it's a fun sport. Yes. It a lot of people can get into that negative energy, but I think it's because we keep telling them to be patient and they are not designed to be patient. And again, I don't have anything against patient people. Maybe they're more evolved than we are. I am just a very impatient person. I like things now. And I will be honest that my husband has spoiled me by like giving it to me now. Like, oh my God, guys, I was having the biggest container issue last week. You won't even believe the thing that Irfan has planned for me. Like, oh my God. Literally, I was like, stop it. I'm having a container. I told him, I was like, this is too much for me right now. And like, he kept adding things to it. And I'm like, I just told you I'm having a freaking container issue. And you keep adding to it. Like, give me a chance. He's like, too late. I already bought it. It's happening. I'll share that in a get ready with me video that I'm planning for you next week. But yeah, I had to do like massive inner work. Like I had to collapse it in like 30 minutes. He's like, too late, I bought it already. And I was freaking out. I'm ready for my flirty era. I love that. Let's call it our flirty manifestation era. My desires are not problems. I talk about that in here. Yes, your desires are not problems. Is that a name of a chapter? I think that is. Yeah, I think it was like yes, chapter number one. By the way, I'm going through this like super annoying thing right now where there's a third book that's trying to come out through me, and I'm having a really interesting kind of flirt energy with it because it's like wanting to come through, but like it also tells me it's not ready. And I've never quite experienced anything like this. I know the name of this book. I know it's on manifestation and money. It keeps teasing me. I even opened a Google Doc and started like writing the title. And it's kind of like playing this really flirty peekaboo with it, with me. And at first I was like, I just finished Lady Balls, like go away. And then it's like flirting more. And I'm like, oh, you're really coming through. She won't reveal when it's gonna come through, but she keeps flirting with me. I have the title of the book. I have no idea if it's gonna be a 2024 manifestation. I don't know when it's happening, but it's like thirsty flirting with me, okay? I'm just telling you that. It's like thirsty. Yes. A book on manifestation is actually my desire coming through. Yes, it's like money manifestation. It's like the energy of it is how it's revealing itself right now. Oh, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. It seems like we have a lot of people in Budapest. I'm so excited. Purchasing Lady Ball's audio now. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. There were three super manifestation potent chapters that were taken out of Lady Balls. Did I mention this to you guys or no? Oh, I think I put it in the channeled course. I don't think I publicly talked about this. So what had happened was there were three additional chapters that were written for Lady Balls. And as I was rereading the book, the three chapters didn't belong. And so I was very confused because it didn't like fit with the vibe of the book because this book is very like it's spiritual, but it's also pretty practical, right? And those three chapters were super manifestation, super like high priestess energy. So I prayed over it and I was like, what's going on? These three chapters don't belong. And then the answer that came was, these are the chapters of the next book. And so I deleted those three chapters and I put them in a separate Google Doc titled Next Book. So technically, I do have a rough draft of the next book in those three chapters. Just saying. Just saying. So, yes. Oh, someone said I did mention it. Okay, okay. Yes, I do have those. Kayla said a G Wagon was flirting with me this morning. She wants you bad. She wants you bad. Let's see. Yes. Flirty manifestation era. I like that. I mean, this may not be relevant, so feel free to skip it. But what inner work do you do for anger? I've been doing your cord cutting ritual from cords and contract, and it's really bringing up a lot. Um, I think anger is one of those energies that therapy can help a lot with. It is kind of, I feel like more in like the therapy realm. I never experienced like anger and rage in the way that a lot of people do. Um, I think because I have a very forward moving kind of energy profile, I think that before something could build up into anger and rage, I would end up transmuting it by taking action or by cutting people out or different things like that. My process, and remember, I'm not a therapist, I'm a life coach, so it is a little bit different, is actually finding where the anger lives inside your body. Like, does it show up as heat and tightness in your chest? Does it show up as a burning sensation in your belly? It might be in your shoulders. It's different for where we trap our emotions for different people. So find it in your body and I would sit with it. Not in like anger go away, but like, hi, I see you. Witnessing it and letting it be there with you for a while. And so you guys remember when I shared the story of uh, my how I transmuted my abandonment wound. I had a really deep abandonment wound, and so I kept like trying to run away with it from like for decades. Finally, this one day, I decided that I was just going to face it. Not like I'm gonna battle you out. Face it kind of seems confrontational, but just like, okay, I have this abandonment wound. Where is it showing up? And so I sat there locating it. I found it and I let myself feel abandoned. It was like the darkest 3 hours of my life. It felt really weird. And when I say dark, I don't mean dark as in depressed, I mean literally dark. It felt like I was falling into this pit of black darkness, and I kept falling in it. I kept falling and falling and falling. In fact, as I was falling, I think it was like an hour later, I had this thought. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm dead. Like, that's how I felt. I know it sounds funny now. It was not funny at the time. Sorry. It's funny now. But I was like, I think I've died and I'm like falling somewhere. Like, I'm like falling out of the sky or something. And I kept falling. And after 3 hours, I came out of it and I had transmuted the abandonment wound. I have never, ever felt abandoned since that day, ever. It was such a weird thing. It took me 3 hours to work through something that I had been running away from for decades, over 3 decades. Like, all it took was 3 hours. Now, for someone else, it might be an hour. For someone else, it might be 3 weeks. For someone else, it might be 3 months in therapy. For someone else, it might be a year in therapy. It's different because we run these programs differently, and they're how deep they are. My abandonment wound was deep. It took me 3 hours to work through it. But of course, I already had all this other inner work I had done as well. That was, more recent. If I had to place a year on it, I think this was like 2018, 2017. Like, it's more recent that I transmuted that. Whenever I'm overwhelmed by a negative emotion, I sit down in a calm room and visualize that it is an old friend and I give him or her a big hug. Acceptance, it goes away after a while. I love that. I love that you just gave it a big hug. Yeah, and someone said I caught myself telling my toddler patience. See, I'm not allowed to say that to anyone because you guys know I try to embody everything I teach. So I know that if I told my kids to be patient, they would call me out in 2 seconds and be like, "You're the most impatient person we know." Like, yes, not happening. Growing up poor, I saw how the wealthy sped up time and achieved so much in a year. Kristen, I noticed that too. One thing I always was amazed by watching and observing wealthy people is that how they had this level of timelessness, but I didn't have that at that time. Like, they always seemed so relaxed, but in my mind, I was like, I couldn't relax. So yeah, I know what you mean. I had definitely noticed that too. Yes. Someone else says, I'm a big advocate for sitting with the emotion feeling. Thank you for taking the time to share it. Yes, I believe that is also in my Lady Balls book. And I've shared it in several courses. That is a core kind of foundational practice of my inner work is just find the emotion where it's originating in the body and work through it. And I taught my kids this too, that don't judge it. Something happened just today, and let me just kind of share it with you. So Alina, you guys know my kids are kind of virtually school. So they're homeschooled, but not really because they have online teachers and success coaches and life coaches and all that stuff. So they have like a curriculum and teachers that it's like an online school. So anyways, we have this exciting trip coming up. And so my kids decided that they were going to finish up their schoolwork ahead of time so they can take this time off during this trip. And they even use like some of what was their original like spring break time and weekends, and they were getting really into it and excited about it. And they were like, "Oh, I finished like, 4 assignments ahead, and I finished this, and I did this essay, and they were super excited about it." And so Ayan ended up finishing first, and he was like all set. And then Alina still had some assignments. I saw how hard she was working. Like, she was like putting in hours on the weekend and hours in the evening, and she's like so excited. We're celebrating and everything's going great. Well, a few days ago, she was like, Mommy, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'm done with all my class. And I was like, You're done? And she's like, Yes. I'm like, Oh my God, that's amazing. You've been working so hard. I'm so proud of you. Like, you knocked it out. She's like, Yes, now I can just relax and be in vacation mode. She was so excited. this morning she comes in and she's like, "Oh no, mom, you're not gonna believe this." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "They just added a whole bunch of new assignments and classes because of STAR testing." I don't know if STAR testing is national or is this for Texas, but it's like the big test that all schools students have to take. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not sure if it's like national or just for Texas. So, anyways, and so she's telling me that she's still gonna have to work during some of this trip, and that moment right now was not to be like, "Oh, that's okay, like, we'll make it work," because I could see that she was disappointed, right? So, I mirrored back her emotions. I didn't wanna add to her emotions because now I'm gonna rail her up. I don't wanna make her feel worse than she's feeling, but as I tapped into her energy, she was disappointed, and I said, "Oh, no. I know you work so hard to finish those assignments. You even put in those weekends. Oh my goodness." And so I just let her have that moment of like, "Damn it. I thought I was all done, and now there's all these assignments and all these new classes." So as I just paused and just witnessed her, I saw her literally working through it. And she's like, "Well, I could just, I have some more time. I could just do that one today, and then I can like add a couple more to tomorrow." I saw the wheels started turning because there was ample time and a safe place for her to work through her disappointment first. And all of a sudden, she like worked it through and she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and this. And even if I have to study a little bit on this trip, I'm gonna get really great score on the STAR test, and it's gonna be fine, mom." I'm like, yes, that's the attitude. It's gonna be fine. But what if I started with that? If I had led with that, I robbed that experience of her to work through her disappointment. She was really feeling disappointment in that moment. And so by letting her feel like it didn't get trapped in her body. I hope that makes sense. Oh, Star is Texas? Okay. I wasn't sure. I think every state has their own. Um, have you ever been afraid of having fun and enjoying yourself? I find myself stopping myself from having fun because I'm afraid of not taking things seriously enough to manifest well. So that's a container issue. Yes, when I hadn't done my inner work, I felt very unsafe. In fact, if there were too many people around me having fun, that would put me in a really bad mood. I don't know why. I didn't know why at the time. I know now it's because it felt unsafe. Like my internal child was saying, all this bad stuff happened to me, and you're out here laughing. Like I wanted everyone to be on guard and on edge because I had gone through sexual trauma, right? That they're not experiencing that. Their inner child isn't worried about that. So I had to do inner work. So that's usually a container issue. The other thing I want to notice is if you reread your what you wrote, who told you that you have to be serious to manifest? So where did that thought come from? Because I believe the complete opposite. And remember, whatever we believe, we manifest it through that, right? I believe that being serious is not going to help me manifest. I believe having fun, being flirty, being in play mode is going to actually bring that thing. So just two different beliefs. What if you changed it to actually, it is a requirement of manifestation to have fun. It is a requirement to be flirty. It is a requirement to be in my joy, to be in my pleasure. I think it's because they live in the now and create from here. Hi, Mina. How do you balance being impatient with your human design of being a projector with an emotional inner authority, which recommends us to wait when making decisions? I had a reading with Armaan. So you will have to wait a lot when, as a projector, when you are in the wrong environment. In the right environment, I have the opposite problem. So I'm surrounded. I've done both, by the way. I was like born into the wrong environment, was surrounded by the wrong environment, and so obviously in that thing, people were critical. They weren't making me offers. They weren't inviting. They wanted to steal energy. They wanted to like take something from me, and so then it feels like, oh my God, you're waiting a lot. In When I change my environment. Now, what happens is there's so many invitations that I actually have to say no. There's so many people wanting to work with me. There's so many people wanting to collaborate with me, bring me onto their projects, so many things all the time that there's actually no waiting energy. It's just about, okay, which one feels good right now? And sometimes the answer is none of them. It just feels good to not say yes to any of them. So I think changing environments to where we're appreciated and where our gifts are valued and respected will change the game. That has been a big game changer. And I think this goes for all types. We can feel really smothered in the wrong environment. You first make your beliefs and then your beliefs make you. I love that. What a beautiful saying. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, ladies. I actually have a meeting in a little bit. Um, some exciting things happening. So I'm gonna let you guys go prepare for my next meeting. But all the links for Budapest, Incarnate Recordings, my books, all of that stuff is in the description box. I also have all my manifestation courses and my other courses on my website at theuniverseguru.com. In fact, there is categories on my website where you can categorize my courses by type. And if you can choose the manifestation category, then you'll see all of those as well. Obviously, I've got my books and journals as well. I'm going to be back probably on Friday. I'll see, but Friday or Saturday with a follow-up training. I have another idea for a manifestation training that I want to do. So anyways, I'll be back soon. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Please give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you soon. Also, oh my God, before you go, Mondays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Central Time, I post recorded videos. So I'm challenging myself to have more of a schedule, and I feel like I'm ready. So I have scheduled videos out for you. So every Monday and Thursday, even if YouTube doesn't promote it, come to my channel at 8 a.m. Central Time and you will see a new video. So tomorrow's video is really fun, and I do a little bit of a training and then I take you guys shopping and then I unbox something. So they're gonna be more like fun, flirty videos, but there's also content, learning content, but fun, obviously. I love you. All right, babe. Bye.